All right, welcome to part two, the part where you learn everything about what you need to get started and follow along in this course. So at the end of this section, you'll be able to fully understand how much time you need for practice, where to do it, when to do it, and what tools you need in order to get the best benefit and most benefit out of it. So I'll walk you through this really quick. This is not very complicated. This is the great thing about breathwork. You can practically do it almost anywhere and at any given time. I'll tell you a little bit about when not to do it in the next part, but yes, so regarding time, these techniques that I'm going to show you are super effective. So I think you can get them to work in 5 to 10 minutes, even less. Some of the techniques work right after 3 minutes. So yes, in the last part I mentioned 40-day, 90-day, 120-day cycles. So don't worry about that at all. This stuff works right away if you sit down and you focus on it and you give it your attention. These techniques, each of the ones that I'm going to show you, work within 3 to 5 minutes minimum until you actually get the benefits. So don't worry about all the many days that I've studied them. This was more for my own practice and my own studies. So in terms of space, if you can have it quiet and undisturbed. So for me, I have my own space where I'm sitting right now. I'm sitting on the floor here on my meditation pillow, on my yoga mat. So I have a dedicated space at home. I highly recommend you creating some kind of space at home for yourself. My space, you can't see it, but is not large. A few square feet is all you need, and as you will learn in a moment, I highly recommend you getting a yoga meditation pillow or a yoga block to sit on, and I'll get into that in a moment. But the space is more a dedicated space, like a workshop, where just like where, let's say you're on your desk and you have a place where you work, and there's on the couch there's a place where you leisure. I have my place where I do my breath work, I do my meditations, I do my yoga every day. And I highly recommend you creating a space that looks good, that feels good, maybe smells good, and that is a place where you feel really comfortable. At the same time, if you're traveling, so a lot of these breathing techniques, for example, for me, become really relevant when I'm traveling, when I'm under environmental stress. And so in reality, you don't need anything besides a good place to sit, where you can sit up straight without back support, where you just have your spine straight and where it's quiet enough that you can hear yourself breathing. So that's about space. The tools. You have this video right now, which you can use as an instructional video when you are learning the technique. And there's also the audio version of this course where you where you hear me walk you through the steps. Then there's also the follow-along audio version where it's only focusing on a 3-minute section for each of the technique, where you can just plop in your earphones and I'll walk you through the technique for a longer period of time, about 3 minutes. So I highly recommend you using these up to the point where you feel comfortable to do it on your own. Some of this stuff is very straightforward. Some of it is a little bit more intense. So depending on your practice, really, you can perform and use it, on a daily basis for yourself. Third thing or fourth thing, I do use timers. So I have either a timer on my phone, or I have a little actual timer, like a kitchen timer. I prefer the kitchen timer because having my phone next to me is a distraction, and it prompts me to pick it up and, I don't know, go on social media more likely. It's also sort of like a stress. My phone is more of a stress source than a source of calm. So I recommend you getting a little timer, like a kitchen timer. They can be digital or like a wind-up one. Doesn't matter. All you need it for 3 to 5 minutes. Alternatively, and I'll explain that in a later video as well, I use beads. So beads, chain of beads, because you can use them to actually keep track of time without needing any tool, just by rolling it through your thumb with your thumb. So I'll show you that in a little bit. I do recommend getting a meditation pillow or a block to sit on, anything that sort of gives you the ability to sit up straight. And if you feel uncomfortable sitting cross-legged on the floor, which a lot of people can't for medical reasons, just comfort reasons, sit in a chair and make sure it's a comfy chair. Make sure you're comfortable. So first and foremost, the challenge for these breathing techniques shouldn't be how uncomfortable you are. So I've seen, just to give you an example, I've seen some of my teachers, the teachers that taught me all of this, they get really, really fancy with a lot of pillows under their knees, under their buttocks, under their ankles. So don't make this like sort of like a painful thing, because the most important thing is that you can relaxedly focus on what's happening in your body. And if you're really, really tight in your hips, for example, I'm very tight in my hips, honestly, I'm not very flexible, then make sure you're comfortable, find a space, get a yoga block, put it under your knee, do whatever you need to do to find a comfortable position where you can focus on yourself and on your breath. So in fact, this is a homework. This is the first thing that I want you to do right away, is find a spot in your house today, right now actually, and find a place where you can sit in quiet. Maybe that's your bathroom. If you have a busy household, doesn't matter. Maybe it's on the roof, I don't care. Maybe you have to go to the park, doesn't matter. But make sure that you, can sit up straight with a straight spine without leaning back into anything. So I want you to learn how to sit up straight. This you'll have to do for me, but also at the same time that you're comfortable. And if that's a chair, fine. If that's a yoga pillow, great. If it's something else, if it's on the edge of your bed, I don't care. It's great, as long as you feel supported, as long as you sort of feel like you're grounded. So you're with me with that? You promised me to find a good spot to do this. Do this right now, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much.